starting out the afternoon, we have this wonderful panel of women who are going to share with you their success stories with Rebecca. So may I ask them to come onto the stage? So let me welcome back to the stage our incomparable leader, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter.
Aren't they beautiful? Yay! You're so beautiful. Well, this is a really special time of our event together where we get to acknowledge and celebrate people that are stepping out in incredible ways. So I'm going to share a little bit about each of these beautiful, fabulous, talented ladies and share some of the things they're doing. And they're going to share some way I've impacted their life, and we've let that open. So I'm hoping it's in a positive way because I have editing power should I need to use it. So you understand the connection of how we've connected and worked together. And then they're going to share what they're doing, what they're building, what they're launching. And this is an opportunity for us to celebrate with them, hold space for them, and acknowledge all the things they're stepping into and doing. Can we do that? Okay, perfect. So I always feel into who I'm going to announce first. They don't know. I know. They don't know. I'm telling the truth here. Kimmy, I think I'm going to start with you today. So Kimmy Avery is an international relationship navigation specialist, master's in counseling, NLP master practitioner, trainer, and she's shared the stages with Marianne Williamson and Caroline Mace, thank you, Mace, #1 international best-selling author, podcast host, and your forthcoming book has been endorsed by,
Dr. John Gray. So am I supposed to?
Not yet. I'm just keeping it building here. And she's passionate about helping more men and women successfully navigate the masculine and feminine so they can build peaceful, loving relationships that are empowering to both parties. Please lean in and warmly welcome the fabulous Kimmy Avery to the center of the stage.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here again with Rebecca. Every time I come back, I learn something more and get reminded about shining my light. How many of you are feeling that right now, being reminded? Yeah, thank you. We all need to be shining our light. And the problem today is that, as I said earlier this morning, the problem is that men and women sometimes have challenges communicating with each other. And when you're upset at home or at work or somewhere in your life, your light is under a bushel. Your light is hidden. You cannot be vibrant. You cannot do your mission. You cannot be your best self. Have you ever lost a day of your life to a relationship upset? Anybody? A day, maybe a year, or many years sometimes. It doesn't have to be that way. Over the last 60, 70 years, relationships have changed. The dynamics have changed. And now we're restructuring. We're in the place where we can build conscious partnerships. So that's part of what I do with my work with Rebecca. I have a Partnership Bliss podcast where I interview people who are uplifting relationships on the planet, and I give talks about how we can do that, how we can be our best selves. I also have a book called Relationship Navigation. It Takes More Than Love. Have you ever noticed that you can be the most loving, amazing person in the world, and then in your relationships it's a little challenging? The monster comes out, that grumpy self comes out, you're frustrated. Women tend to look at men as hairier, misbehaving versions of ourselves who are either doing things we would never do and we're upset, or not doing things we would do and we're upset. Men tend to look at women as smaller, emotionally indulgent, more colorful versions of themselves who can't get to the point to save their lives. And we don't really know that, ladies, as we talk. We don't really know that sometimes. And everybody has masculine and feminine within them. So learning to dance and understand what's going on with that is critically important. And that's what my mission is in the world. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm so grateful to have had Rebecca as my back, supporting me in all that I'm doing, so that I can shine my light. Because, you know, Marianne Williamson says, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. There's another piece to that. Our deepest fear, too, is being ostracized, being afraid. And that's part of why we're afraid to shine our light. Overcoming that fear requires us to have a support system to be able to do that. Do you feel supported in this room today? Yeah, thank you. That's what Rebecca brings to us. I'm so grateful that I have Rebecca in my life, and I'm grateful for all of you here today. And anything else? Is that? Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Hello, my Elizabeth. I'm going to introduce you next. So, Elizabeth, who is our shy wallflower. No, Elizabeth is, you're just contagious in a beautiful way. I love it. She's never met a stranger, and she makes an impact everywhere she goes and how she connects and relates to others, and I appreciate that about you. Let me more formally introduce you. Elizabeth is a naturopath, best-selling author, CEO and founder of Relentless Heart, and I know you're launching a new entity.
Fiercely Successful.
Fiercely Successful. So we're excited about that. And let's see. She's a motivational, inspirational speaker, podcast host, launching, remember everybody the date? September 5th, exactly. Beautiful. She's been quoted in major media, ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. And she has overcome childhood abuse, being bedridden for 12 years. Not 12 months, 12 years. Being told that was going to be her life. And she overcame that and healed and is now traveling and speaking. And she says to me, she goes, I've rested enough. I'm on a mission. So please help me warmly welcome the powerful, mission-driven Elizabeth Clement to the center of the stage. Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca. I just want to, I met Rebecca through the Speaker Talent Search. And I saw it posted on a Facebook page that I'm a member of, a group. And I contacted the guy who leads the group. He's part of our military community there where I live. And I was like, what do you know about this lady? And he said, I don't know. I just saw it and posted it for the group members. So I started getting all my speaker friends to research her and research the panelists and see if this was legit, or is this a pay to play, or what is this about? And I cannot tell you how glad I am that I stepped up and took that opportunity to do the Speaker Talent Search, even though I put the application in and thought, I'll never hear back from her. And then when I heard back and they said they wanted the video, I was like, oh. Because if you know anything about speakers, you know that we don't speak to cameras. We speak to people. So speaking to a camera, even though my husband was on the other side of it, was really difficult for me. I waited till the last night and I procrastinated. We did 2 takes. It had to be 7 minutes and no editing. And so we did the second take, and at the end he goes, 7 minutes, 6 seconds. And I went, I can't edit. I said, just send it. Just send it. It's not going to matter anyway. I'll never hear back from him. And sure enough, a month or so later, Rebecca called me, and I said, oh, I can't believe you're even calling me. And she said, well, then you're really going to be surprised what I have to tell you. So that's how I met her. And then I came out in March for her Expert to Influencers Mastermind. And I just absolutely fell in love with her heart. And the words that she used, like, we want to know how to serve you. Will this serve you? Will this serve your purpose? Words like purpose, words like meaning, words like empowerment, words like servant. I had never heard that before because I was always ready and braced for the hard sell. And I was so impressed that those were the words that she used. And how will this advance you, and how will this help you and empower you to reach more people? And so my heart just fell in love with her heart. And I can't tell you how much it's meant to have her in my life and how much it's empowered me. And for her to be such a connector too. She not only wants to help you and empower you, but she wants to connect you to other people who can do the same and are willing to do the same. And that is amazing to me because you don't find very many of those people in this world anymore. It's all about them and it's not about everybody else. But quickly, what I'm bringing forth, like we said, the Mill Supports podcast is coming out September 5th. And that's, you don't have to be in the military. You don't have to be associated with the military. It doesn't have to be the American military. You can just be interested in, hey, what are those people doing? I've done it for 30 years. I have a panel of about 11 ladies that are going to be on there with me. We're going to talk about all things military, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the funny. So the 30 years of experience that I have and them will be coming out with an anthology next year that will share some of our stories. And we're all very excited to bring this forward. I had planned on this being part of my own podcast, a monthly feature, but it got such a reception and so many people curious that I felt like that was what they were asking for, and that's what they needed. So that's what I brought forth. I also have my book, my first book back there, Beauty Rising from Brokenness, about my journey through childhood trauma. And it's not just a memoir, but it walks you through healing, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And then Rebecca mentioned my 12 years in bed. 6 months after coming through that, my family was coming back from vacation, and we hit a semi-truck. And we were towing our camper. We couldn't stop. And our 16 and 18-year-old daughters were driving the truck, and they hit the camper, and the camper hit us again. Thank God that my family walked away. But I was taken to the hospital where I spent 5 days on the cardiac ward and 12 years in bed with the doctor saying, you're just going to have to learn to live this way. And I said, that is not good enough for me because God told me I was going to stand on a stage and speak. And that's what I'm going to do, regardless of what it takes. And I can tell you now, 14 years out, that's finally coming to fruition. And I'm so excited, and I'm so thankful to be here and to be able to share. Thank you.
I love you too. So, Adrian, did you feel the energy shift? I feel like she kind of started looking away. So our beautiful Adrian Jefferson Schoeffer is the owner and founder of Aspire to Inspire. And now you're launching into helping people step into their confidence as well, which I think is so powerful and exciting to see. And I know is impacting many, many people. So it's beautiful. She has, her global business. She specializes in global business and transformation. She's a strategist. She specializes in helping people in different countries really step forward powerfully. You've been in many, many countries yourself, know how to navigate those waters. 26 and counting.
26 and counting.
#1 international best-selling author, and she has been recommended as a top professional by ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. And she's passionate about helping you aspire to your greatness and step powerfully into your confidence. Please warmly welcome the powerful Adrienne Jefferson Chofer to the stage. Woo!
Thank you, Rebecca. Quick question. Any wild women in the audience today? My tribe. Let me tell you a story. This happened 3 days ago. I was on the phone with a friend, and she said to me, "Girl, I just love you because you are such a wild woman." And I looked at the phone. Who's she talking to? A wild woman? I thought I was more sophisticated. I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And she says, "What do you mean what I mean by that? You are so unconventional. You just think of something, you just go and make it happen. You go and do it. You're driven. You don't wait for someone to tell you that you can do it or not. You don't wait for permission. You just go ahead and do it." And I said, "Wild woman, huh? I'm going to accept that." But it made me think of a chapter in my book, which you'll see in the back, Aspire to Your Greatness. There's a chapter entitled Wildflowers. And because of my childhood trauma, I never felt beautiful. And I was teased mercifully, whatever the word. and I went through so much abuse and then later teenage homelessness. And when I thought of flowers, I never thought I could ever be like as beautiful as a flower. But you think of in spring when you're riding on the when you're on the road and you look to the side of the road and you see these beautiful flowers, these beautiful wildflowers. They can grow anywhere and be so beautiful. And I said, that's me. I wasn't cultivated, but I still managed to step into my own and grow and be powerful, like that flower, and that people say, I see her beauty. It's not just the surface, it's what's within and what we allow to radiate into the world. And I see a room full of wildflowers. And this is the kind of community that Rebecca has put together. We were called here, whether you know it or not. All of us here are like a beautiful garden. We talk about planting and blooming and shining, and I think about how so many of us at one point were in the shadows, like myself, but we know nothing grows in the shade. All of us had to step forward, and now we can shine. And I help women do that and step forward with confidence. How many women here have been in business meetings and didn't speak up? How many leaned back or sat against the wall? How many did not allow their light to shine in the presence of men or people they thought were superior, had more authority, or prettier, or better, and they minimize themselves or diminish themselves? I help women to step forward in their confidence so they can shine. And not only women, I'm also working with young girls in the New York City Department of Education and also with America Scores to help young girls, our future leaders of tomorrow, shine. With my Glow Up program, which is Girls Leading Our World Up, we're helping our young leaders of tomorrow to step forward, to shine, and be powerful. And I'd like to thank you, Rebecca, for helping my message to get out there, for helping my book to become a #1 international bestseller, helping me be a part of this beautiful community where we have so many passionate, powerful women who are shining. Step forward every day, confidently, and shine. Thank you.
your turn. So, Christine, we have known each other, has it been a year? Not quite a year. Oh, I know. You know how you meet people and you just connect and you just love them and their energy. That's how I feel about Christine, and I love you and your energy and what you stand for and what you bring to the world. Oh, this is mutual, just in case you didn't hear that. No, beautiful. So let me share a little bit of her formal background. So Christine Agro is a spiritual teacher, conscious living expert, international best-selling author of Awaken and Grow, a practical guide for your spiritual journey. She has been seen on Vogue, and this is just a few, by the way. So Vogue, Elite Daily, Ladders, Vice, Late Night with Shawn Myers, Animal Planet, and then the New York Times. And that's just a few. So excited about all the visibility, all the different places that you're touching. You're a teacher for the meditation app Simple Habit, which has this was earlier this year, had over 1 million users. Wow. So I'm sure the number is even bigger now. Yeah, which is great. And you're passionate about helping all of us awaken and walk on our spiritual journey. So please warmly welcome the powerful, passionate, and amazing guide, Christine Agro, to the center of the stage. Sure. I was like, hug first.
Hug first, speak later. Thank you, everybody. So how many of you have an idea of where you want to go and who you want to be? Right? So here's the thing. I have no idea where I'm going. I just keep following the threads that come. And part of that for me is about being aligned with my inner spirit. And then having the courage to just do it. One of my coaches said that I had grit. And she said I have grit because if I couldn't find the traditional path to get somewhere, I created it for myself, like platforms, right? Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to just see what happens when we say yes to things. And that's one of the reasons that I connected and love Rebecca so much, because we're both the power of yes. And when I saw that with her, I thought, oh my gosh, she's totally after my own heart. And she is. I mean, she is a cheerleader. She's somebody that you want in your camp because she lifts you up. When I did the book launch in November, I did it on my birthday, and it was the best day. Like, to have it be my birthday, to be doing this book launch, and to have Rebecca calling me with these updates of where the book had reached #1, of where it had gone bestseller, and all of the different categories. It was so exciting. And by the end of the day, I was honestly at the place where I was like, I just couldn't take any more good news. Like, how odd was that, right? It was like, it just kept coming. And if I look at where I was, it hasn't even been a year since the book has launched. And so much has changed for me in terms of visibility and reaching people. And for me, the way that it's happened is by staying aligned, staying connected to who I am, and following those threads that come. So those voices, whether it's a voice or a sense that I'm supposed to be here, I'm supposed to do something, I should go meet that person, I should call that person. Those are all nudges for you to do those things so that you can get to where it is that you want to be. Karma talked about her karma process, and it is all those things. Especially the last one, action, right? It is in the doing that gets us there. So for me, when I was thinking about talking today, I was checking in with what is it that the group needs, and what I just keep hearing is courage. Courage, 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 courage. And there's a really great quote, I'm going to see if I can remember it. Hope lies in the dreams and imagination but it is in the courage of people that those dreams are manifested. And I just think that that's so important to remember, that we all are probably scared to death, right? Nervous, anxious, uncertain. And it just takes that yes in you, which is the courage to take the steps forward. So I have some programs launching. I have 40 Days to Creating More, which is one of my signature programs. It's a fun space that it's virtual, so you can participate from wherever you are. And we basically play with different ways of mindset, creating, manifesting. So if that interests you, there's some information in the back. But thank you very much.
And my dear friend, Dr. Nancy Tarhart. We've had the opportunity to work on 2 book projects so far, and Dr. Nancy is someone I just encourage all of you to have a conversation with. She's fascinating. And I always find we get sucked into this little bubble world of all kinds of things that we discuss, from cats to spiritual things to crystals. I mean, there's a whole range. And I really appreciate that connection with you. It's mutual again. Making sure everyone hears. Thank you. So Dr. Nancy Tarhart has a diverse background, which includes over 40 years of working in worlds of business, theater, and education, so kind of a nice range there. She has her spiritual gifts, and they were ignited in 1995. They've been taking him deeper and deeper, and you realized your deep connection with the divine feminine, Sophia. And that you have taken all kinds of different directions, including the beautiful books that you have brought forward and launched as international bestsellers. You're an assistant professor of philosophy and religion and have a PhD in feminist theory. And let's see, you've published the 2-volume series, which I just shared about, and you are passionate about sharing what you've discovered about the divine and then the feminine, divine feminine, and helping empower us with that information. It's time to tear the veil away and reveal this beautiful, powerful, and empowering information. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Nancy Tarhart to the center of the stage.
Oh, thank you very much. Hi, everybody. I'm going to try to keep this really short because I will be up here a little bit later. But if anybody had told me 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, that it's been like, it was a year long that I would have, with Rebecca's help, launched 2 books. I would have said, yeah, and what are you smoking? I just didn't think it would be possible. Well, it is possible, and it was Rebecca who kept me moving, who, when I was like, oh, I don't know if I can keep getting these chapters in, she was like, yeah, you can. And yes, I would call, and we would set up a meeting, and our conversations went like this. Boom, boo, ooh, 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 ooh. But we got to where we needed to be. Each one of those boop, boop, boops were exactly what we needed to talk about at that time. Very healing conversations, I think, for both of us. And so that's what I like to impart, because the energy that was coming into those conversations was the energy of the divine feminine. It's an energy of inclusiveness, it's safety, it's community, and it's love. It's respect for each other, respect for our differences, and in those differences we often find what is true and the same within each one of us. It's that essence, that divine light that stays within all of us. And so My books talk about that in one sense, but what it really is talking about is it is time for the veil to be removed and lifted so that those shadows that had been sort of lingering behind that veil can proudly step out and say, hey, wait a minute, look, this is what I did. This is why I'm here, and I'm going to move forward with that. And it's encouraging women to step forward from behind that veil and say, you need to see the real me. And that seems to be the theme coming through here today, is we need to not be afraid to say, this is me. This is what I've done. Please don't put what I've done behind someone else. It's time for the patriarchy, sorry fellas, but it's time for the patriarchy to disintegrate. Not be totally gone, because we need the balance. But it's time for women to take advantage of that and to say, we're here to support you, but we are not here to support you by being trodden on, laid down and just be somebody you can walk over. We are here to be mutually supportive. And so that to me is that's a small part of the divine feminine, but that's a big, that's what I'd like to have you walk away with today in regard to the divine feminine. And also, I'll just give you a little teaser. The second book actually is about Mary of Nazareth, or as we commonly refer to her as the Virgin Mary, or Mary, the mother of Jesus. And it's looking at her through a lens that is just looking at her, with nothing else around her. And so, if you get a chance, just sort of thumb through. But if you have a chance, you might really enjoy it. Pick up a copy, they're back there. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in a little bit. Oh, great. Did I say how much I love you and how important you were? I got off on a tangent.
Oh, it's
I'm
all
sorry.
good. No, thank you. I feel your love.
Because she is really pretty, you know how incredible she is, right? You bring out the best in all of us. You bring us all out from behind the veil.
Thank
Young
you.
lady, you're welcome.
Thank you. Can we have all of our amazing panelists stand and step forward, front of the stage? And can we, well, no. Stop. And let's give them another round of applause, celebrating all they are doing and stepping forward in. Thank you. Thank you all for saying yes and being willing to share your gifts and your talents in so many ways. Thank you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. So what I'd like to do is give us a moment to stop, pause, breathe. Beautiful. And I'd like to give you a moment to share if there's something that from the beginning of today to now that has touched your heart that you want to share. Maybe that intention moving forward a little bit. There was something in a presentation that touched your heart, a connection that happened in the room. We'd love to give you an opportunity to share.
In that same vein, the theme that I'm hearing and is that when we have something that we know could change lives, it's not about just us building up that confidence, finding the way to get that voice, to get out there. It is something that we must do because there are people out there who so desperately need it.
Yes.
They need to hear it from us. They need to be able to find us, and that is why. That is why, is to serve and to love on them in that capacity.
Beautiful. Thank you.